Hello, everyone, and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Let me put this down a little bit. All right. Welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour on this marvelous Monday. I know it's a little dreary outside, been raining all day, but we are all here and we are all here together. So it is a marvelous Monday because I'm here with you. So welcome to our marvelous Monday broadcast. Hopefully you had a great weekend. How was your weekend? Hopefully it was great and you enjoyed yourself. You were able to rest and relax and get all the things you needed to do done. If you had any homework or classwork, my student friends, that you needed to finish. Hopefully you were able to finish those things, and then you were able to just relax and hang out, talk to your friends on the phone, or play some Fortnite like I know many of you like playing. So hopefully your weekend was really good. My weekend, how was my weekend? So this weekend, I had a really important paper to write because remember, Miss Hope told you Miss Hope is in school just like you guys are in school. So I had a really important paper to write. And I have not finished it yet. I have one last part to do today. And I'm going to finish it and it's going to be done and it's going to be great and I'm going to get a great grade. And when I get my grade, I will let you know what I got on my paper. Okay, so that's how my weekend was. And you all know, usually on Sundays, I sing at church for our broadcast online. But this time they said, Hope, you can take a break this Sunday. I said, great. So I got a lot of things done that I had to get done and did a lot of my paper that I had to get finished. So now I only have this one little part that I have to get finished. Okay? So that's how my weekend was. I had a really restful and relaxing weekend. Hopefully all of my student friends, my teacher friends, my parent-teacher friends had the same. Okay? So before we get started, just to let you know, this wonderful music that you all hear and the books that we will read today, Miss Hope does not own any of that content, okay? It is here for your listening enjoyment, okay? So since today was kind of a dreary day, I was like, what kind of music do I want to play? And I felt like some tropical music to make me think of sunshine and palm trees and sand in the ocean. So I wanted to play this music, okay? Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you can close your eyes. If you've ever been to the beach or if you want to use your imagination, because even if you have not been somewhere, your imagination is powerful. And you can imagine that you are anywhere that you want to be. That's the reason why I love books. So you can close your eyes. Imagine yourself on the beach with some pineapple juice and a pineapple with a straw and an umbrella. Taste the sweet pineapple juice. Smell the ocean breeze. Feel the warm sand between your toes. Feel the warmth of the sun shining on you. Okay, we got to get back. I got a little too into it. We got to get back to the reading. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty nice. I can stay right here and just keep my eyes closed and keep imagining. But we have to get to our books because it's Miss Hope's Reading Hour. We're here to read some great books, right? So speaking of books, if you saw the teaser, okay, if you notice, my glasses are back on. I usually only put them on for the chapter book, but my glasses were broken One of my stems was broken. I had to put it back on. So I decided, you haven't been wearing glasses for a few days. You need to kind of keep them on. Okay. So in the teaser that some of you were able to see, I put up the 2 books that we are going to be reading today before the chapter book. And they have to do with books. What else would we be talking about? This is Miss Hope's reading hour, right? So it's about books. And the question was, do you know how to read a book? Maybe you might know how to read a book. Do you know how to write a book? Have you tried? I might know how to write one. Maybe I could see. So we're going to talk about that today in our 2 books. Let me show them to you. Our first one is called How to Read a Book. Did you know that there was an instruction manual? I didn't know either. How to Read a Book. This is by Kwame Alexander. Art by Melissa Sweet. And you may not be able to see that. Let me see. Look there. It says by Newbery medalist Kwame Alexander, and art by Caldecott honoree Melissa Sweet. So remember those medals that we saw on some of the books that we read? Those are some of the medals that you can win for writing books and making pictures for books, okay? So we will read this one today and find out if we had it all right. How to read a book. Let's see if we are doing it correctly. All right, and our next book, How to Read a Book. But then you need to know, if you want to win one of those medals, how to write a book. So it says, look, I wrote a book, and you can too. I can? Maybe. Let's see. This book is by Sally Lloyd-Jones and Neil Layton. Look, I wrote a book, and you can too. Guess what? It's possible. We all may be able to write a book. Let's see what the steps are. And of course, we will continue on walking with Miss Mille. We still have to find out some more about Miss Mille. She's a feisty character. Alice is a little feisty too. And sometimes Eddie can be feisty, her brother. So we will find out what it's like to continue walking with Miss Mille. Okay? All right, so let us get to our first book to find out how to read a book and find out if we got it right. So as always, remember, if you would like to donate to Miss Hope's Reader, you can check right down here inside of the ticker for information to donate to Miss Hope's Reading Hour. We would love for you to donate. My Facebook friends, Instagram friends, YouTube friends, Periscope friends. Any donation you give will be greatly appreciated and used for the Miss Hope's Reading Hour Library. Okay? Now let us get into this book. How to Read a Book by Newbery medalist Kwame Alexander and art by Caldecott honoree Melissa Sweet. This is a Harper book, an imprint of Harper Collins Publishing. Let's see, how do you read a book? How to read a book. First, find a tree. A black tupelo or dawn redwood will do. And plant it yourself. It's okay if you prefer a stoop like Langston Hughes. So basically, you gotta find somewhere to sit. Sometimes the best place to sit is under a tree, or if you don't have trees, you can easily sit on a stoop. Once you're comfy, peel its gentle skin like you would a clementine, the color of sunrise. So you gotta peel it open. We have this tropical music on. You know what a clementine is? It's a small orange. I love orange. The scent of morning air and sweet butterfly kisses. Oh, that's if you're outside. One of the best places to read is when you're sitting outside. Next, dig your thumb at the bottom of each juicy section and pop the words out. Juicy, one of my nephew David's favorite words. But books can be juicy. We read some. Piece by piece, part by part, page by rustling page. Take your time with it, friends. Then, when the sun is so quiet, watch a novel world unfurl right before your eyes. Surprise! It's a book party. Stacked with all your favorite friends. A picnic of words and sounds in leaps and bounds. Oh, check this out. All those people reading. Come on, book, I don't want to mess up the page. So get real cozy between the covers and let your fingers wander. Oh, sorry. Let your fingers wonder as they wander. That's another great place to read while you're cozy underneath the covers. Squeeze every morsel of each plump line until the last drop of magic drips from the infinite sky. And bursts of orange. Explode Load. All of this from just reading a book? Don't rush through. Your eyes need time to taste. Your soul needs room to bloom. Now sleep, dream, hope you never reach. Where? The end. Wow. That is the end. I didn't know there was so much that goes into reading a book, but it's true. Sometimes you got to make sure you pick the right spot in the perfect weather sometimes, and then if the weather is like it is today, the perfect spot in your house with the perfect blanket, okay, just a second. This right here, this would be my reading blanket. This has been my reading blanket sometimes when I've had to read books for my classes, not necessarily for enjoyment, but for my classes when it's been a little cold. This was a gift from one of my students for Christmas. This is one of my favorite soft blankets to wrap up in and read if I have a book to read. So yes, sometimes you have to find that perfect place and the perfect blanket, perfect thing to drink, like some cocoa or some tea. Have yourself a moment so that your mind can imagine and wander. So now that you know how to properly read a book, go and get one. Even that one, okay? Now, we've read books. But do you want to write one, friends? So, I said, look, I wrote a book. You could write one too. You could write one of those books that people curl up and read. Let's see how. This book is by Sally Lloyd-Jones and Neil Layton. And this is a Random House children's book. Look, I wrote a book. And you can too. When you want to write a book, first you need a good idea. You can get one from your brains, your notebook, people, staring out of the window, all around, wherever you go. That's a lot of inspiration, friends. Basically, you can write any book you like, except here's what you have to know. What you're talking about. Once upon a time, there was a Sausageosaurus. Is there such a thing? For instance, if you are writing a book about dinosaurs, but you don't know any good dinosaur names, like Diplodocus, Triceratops, or Stegosaurus, or even how to spell crustaceous, no one will believe anything you say. You see those people? They're like, baloney. What are you writing a book about dinosaurs for? You don't know anything. Here's what else you have to know. What it's for. If you're writing a book for your grandma, for example, but it's all about tractors and dump trucks, she will be snoring because it is not even interesting to her. You should write about things grandmas love, like the olden days, or tap dancing, or you. Something all grandmas will love, stories about their grandchildren. If you're writing a bedtime book for babies, you can't have scary monsters inside, or they will be screaming and not sleeping. Plus, if you can't use big words like fragile, you can't use big words like hilarious, because they won't understand. You have to use only small ones like blocks or bug. You're putting scary things inside of the baby book, kind of not a good idea. Next, you sit still and do quiet concentrating and get all your crayons in a row. You must also get a table, a pencil, paper, a stapler, if you are allowed, your imagination, and most importantly, a plan. She seems to have a lot of imagination, right? Now you need a title, which is what your story is called. Here are some good titles. How to Take Your Penguin for a Walk by me. This is called a how-to manual. Spiders on the Ceiling. This is a horror story for me too, okay? Cleaning My Room. This is a tragedy. When I Was a Baby. This is a history book. Only One Shoe. This is a mystery. Haven't we all been through that mystery? There are some not good ones. How to Change a Diaper. A History of Lettuce. Remember, your title must be appropriate. For instance, if your book is called Pretty Puppies, but inside are only horrible trolls, readers could be disappointed. Yeah, I'd be disappointed. I like cute puppies. I don't want to see trolls. Plus, you definitely need a story. Basically, a story has a hero, like me, something she wants, like maybe a horse, something stopping her, like maybe a teacher or a baby or a criminal. Something happens. She spies a horse in a field. What goes wrong? The horse runs away. Now she gets what she wants in the end. She finds the horse again and tames it and rides it home. There's a process, friends. There's a process. At last, you're completely ready to start writing. So you write a beginning. Here's a bad beginning. First, we stood up. Next, we sat down. That would definitely win the most boring book ever prize. Here's a good beginning. Praying mantises have 6 legs and mandibles and eat their husbands. This is nonfiction because you absolutely didn't make it up. My darling. Eek. He's like, wait a minute, wife, you're not eating me today. Or a daddy had some children. One day he lost them. This is fiction because you made it up. Then you write the middle, where all the stuff goes. The daddy was worried. He looked everywhere. Where could he have put them? Okay. You notice him looking in the shoe? How tiny are your children, friend? How tiny? That would be an interesting story if you lost your children in your shoe. After that, you write the ending, which comes last. Suddenly, he found them. They were hiding in the closet. He was very happy. The end. If you want people to cry, you write a sad ending. Unfortunately, he didn't ever find them. He was very disappointed. The end. Always put the end so everyone knows the story's over. If you put to be continued, everyone has to read your next book. Oh, now that's a good strategy. He couldn't find the children. He was disappointed. To be continued. What do you think he's going to do next to find the children? Then after you put the end, you have your juice and a snack. Because writing a book is hard work, people. It's not easy. You can do it, but you might need to take a break. Okay? You probably should have words and pictures in your book. If you have no words, some people might not know what's happening and say, I don't get it. And if you don't even have one picture, then it might send everyone to sleep. When you're finished, you can show your book to your friends. And they might say things like, this baby is not very fascinating, or I think we need more bunnies in here. Here's what else they might say. That was the most fantastic book ever. Are those bunnies or dinosaurs? Can there be a lightsaber? That was really long. Opinions. You need to hear all of them though. Then you go away and draw better bunnies and cut the part about the boring baby just sleeping, which means you revise it, which means it gets even better. Now you stick the pages together and make page numbers. You must be able to count. That would be important, because you can't just give the pages random numbers. Next, you draw your best picture with lots of colors in it, and it goes on the front. That's the cover. On the back, you put what famous people thought about your book. Your friends' names go here. Then you make a beautiful portrait of yourself, and underneath it write about the author and give important historical facts like how old you are, how many sisters and brothers you have, your favorite color, if you have a pet, how many millions of cartwheels you can do without even stopping. That would be very interesting information to know about the author of this book, especially if it's about partners. Now you get people to buy your book. For instance, you could be friendly, give them cookies, let them play with your trucks, tie them to a chair, and that's how to write a book. Oh, tying them to the chair. I don't know. And that's how to write a book and be an author. And then you just go back to being a normal person. Or you could start your next book, which is called a sequel, and write things like How to Write Another Book, or The Return of the Spiders on the Ceiling, The Daddy Who Lost His Children Again, The Other Shoe Comes Home. The End? To be continued. The end. Well, my friends, now you have been told what you must do and all the steps you must take if you also want to write a book, because it says, listen, look, I wrote a book and you can too. So my parent friends, my teacher friends, my parent teacher friends, if you have a student, and I've had some who really like writing stories and drawing pictures, this may be the perfect book for them to read, to know what are the steps to making a book. Some of the steps. This one didn't tell you all of them, but told you some of them. A lot of them, actually. The most important first things about writing a book. Look, I wrote a book, and you can too, by Sally Lloyd Jones and Neil Layton. Very good. Yeah, I took some notes from that. You know, adults can learn a lot of lessons from children's books. Like, that's a very good idea. Especially the one with the plan, where you just had one big piece of paper and you just started writing things all over the paper. That was a really good idea. All right, now, my friends, we must get to our next book, which is our chapter book. Let us continue walking with Miss Mille by Tamara Bundy. So where did we end off the last time? So, oh yes, Alice has gone over to Miss Mille's house finally to apologize for listening in on her party line, okay? And hearing the information about the daughter who did something wrong, and then the Clarence who was going blind, but then she finds out that Clarence is Miss Mille's dog. Miss Mille's small dog that she thought was this huge beast because he was always barking so much. Come to find out, he is just as old as Miss Mille, and he's a small dog, and he's actually harmless. So she went over to apologize to her. Now we are coming back to the story because she hasn't apologized yet. So Miss Mille kind of really doesn't know exactly why she's over there, okay, in her yard. So let's get back to the story of walking with Miss Mille. I had to stop myself from reaching out to pet the dog who now resembled a pup cuddled in Miss Mille's arms. Looking at the two of them, it hit me even more how similar they were. Besides kind of wrinkly, both had a pretty loud bark. And so far, neither of those barks had turned into a bite. But there was still time for that, I guess. Miss Millie looked away from her dog to take in the sight of me. So, you planning on standing there all day, all week, all summer? No, ma'am. I climbed off the table and took a deep breath. I came over to apologize to you. Even though that should have made Miss Millie smile, it did the exact opposite. Instead, she tilted her head to one side and looked at me like she was trying to figure out what I was guilty of before I had a chance to confess. What you been doing to me other than causing all this racket, stirring up my dog and trespassing? Twice in 2 days? Her eyes squinted and oh, sorry. I skipped a whole part. No, ma'am. I mean, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry for those things too, but I'm apologizing. What I'm apologizing for is last night. Her eyes squinted in concern. Mm-hmm. Just a second. My computer is losing juice.